Hello, I'm Megan Jones, editor at Call Centre Helper, and I'm delighted to be joined by Dan Eddy from Simplyhealth to take a closer look at what's happened since introducing the new role of Digital Readiness Lead. So, Dan, can you give me a quick overview of this new job role?
Yeah, I can. It's been in our organisation now for actually probably coming up to a year, but the necessity of it has been borne out by the vast amount of change that we're driving in the organisation. And really, it's about you can build a plan of 12, 24 months of that change roadmap. Really, it's about executing that really well, but bringing your people on that proverbial journey, right? It's an often used phrase. Not many people like it, but it's so true. Its readiness role is all about making sure people understand what's coming, how it's going to impact them, and making sure, and we've talked about this many times, right, that the kind of speed to happiness measure, the measure that comes from the recipient, the people on the front line, whatever change that they go through, that that is an enjoyable, in inverted commas, process that they are able to give the feedback and we're able to get better. And that digital readiness lead is in charge of that kind of end-to-end process and the scoring and the kind of learning that goes alongside it.
So it really stops that change management point from not being an afterthought. It's very much embedded in day to day and consistently across everyone.
Absolutely. And it's important you get the right kind of people who are, in the detail, who are able to, be quite self-sufficient, plan, effective and well organized maps of when and who with and a little bit of the how as well, of course. So they are quite a self-sufficient role. We're reliant on them for various areas of our business. But I think one of the most successful things is, Megan, is it's allowed a bit of a different career path to happen within our own organisation.
Okay.
So people who are on the front line, perhaps in team leader roles, coaching roles, are also able to see, oh, right, this business readiness lead, this looks, it's project management almost in a version of, right, but it's also, high on people engagement and how you lead people, right? So the profile of it is really, I think, well, it's front and center.
Yeah.
So everything that we're doing is centered around the change that we're driving, the impacts of that change, and these people are, as I say, in the middle of it all.
So it's really helped to open some doors for some new career paths for people internally.
Yeah, yeah, and that's it's almost its own little function now.
Mhm.
You might call, right? You might call it that. It has a sort of a senior manager, and then there are other business readiness leads that are responsible for each area of our contact center. And yeah, that kind of team is then responsible for creating that roadmap I talked about. What does it look like in a kind of holistic view? But then as you drill down to the detail, which area is going first, which area is going second, what is
Yeah.
the change? Is it cumulative change or is it just the change for that particular area? They're responsible for all of that kind of sort of planning and action. So
Mm.
yeah.
It sounds like it's been a really positive journey so far, but would you say there were any early teething problems or things you learnt the hard way when this new role first went live into the business?
Well, it's like anything, isn't it? You write a role profile,
Mm.
and you have expectations of what the role is going to look like. Um, but I think it absolutely has been one of those, on the hoof learning experiences.
Mhm.
Certainly um, our first business readiness lead. I think I had it quite tough actually because it's the first time we'd done it.
Mm.
So facing into that change management process, but also it was a big project. It was actually the omni-channel project, right? So,
Mm.
and there was a lot to deal with. So, hence, I think we mentioned earlier, right, there were more of them because we perhaps underestimated the sort of the process and the management of that kind of end to end. And I think the materiality of what we now know means that we need more people doing this role because it's so key to making sure that our people understand the value of the change that's coming, but you know more so that they are engaged through that process.
Mm. So one of the biggest learnings then was that one is not enough. You need
Well,
it.
that's it,
Yeah.
right? And that came out of exactly that, learning that actually,
Mm.
one person's trying to do this job, and it's far bigger than we the job profile we wrote down, and there were chinks in that kind of early process where we need to go, well, this is the really key area. And what I pick out, one of those areas was sort of, people going live with our new omnichannel system, but not having a chance to play with it, if you like.
Okay.
Some were, some weren't, because of the timelines involved. Now, had we had another business readiness lead, we could have, facilitated more of that experiential learning, if you like, sort of on the job, or let me have a play before it goes live, sort of thing. But because we only had one person, we were a bit restricted because everybody else is doing the day job, right?
Yeah.
So certainly one of the findings is that there are often projects now that we're going to do, and there's plenty ahead with the Gentic AI, very present at the moment, where we'll probably have two or three maybe working together on one single project, just to make sure that we cover ourselves in glory, as we manage through that change, right, particularly from an agentic perspective.
Mm. So overall, then introducing this role has been a really positive change for the business, and you've added more people into roles like that, and you're going to continue to do so moving forward.
Yeah, that is exactly it.
Yeah.
How do I validate that value? Well, our people have never been more engaged than they are right now. Right, we use a peak on a chatterbox engagement survey, which is
Mm.
every other month, right? So it's quite regular in terms of its rhythm. And at the end of 2025, we had the highest score we've ever had as a service organisation at 8.5, right?
Wow.
Which is a kind of an ENPS of about 63, which is just fantastic. And if we think about the volume of change that we've delivered into that landscape in the last 3 or 4 years, for us to have engagement at that level
Yeah.
across the board is just sensational. And I think without the business readiness leads in play for the last kind of 12 months, I think those scores would be quite a bit lower than they are actually, because we've been able to really handhold people through the amorphous of change that's happening around them, and do so in a way that makes them feel as though they've got the time and space to learn at their speed.